All right, guys, welcome to the MMA Circle Sri Lanka channel once again. So, on our second podcast, we have a very special member joining us today. So, when it comes to MMA, this person has represented Sri Lanka in many different countries and brought glory to the country as well. So, without further ado, let me introduce you, Tiran, the Tornado Thakshala, on our podcast today. Thanks a lot for doing this with us.
Thank you, Siddhar, and thank you, Asif.
Hi, Tiran, how first of all, just to understand how's it going, like with the Corona situ in Dubai? How is it like?
Actually, now things are getting better. Most of the people are getting used to live with the corona and all. Now we are open up fully, 100%. We are open up all the hotels and everything. Yeah. Now is
Right.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So you are training in the gym, and there's no issue, right?
No, gyms will start. I think hopefully next week. Some of the hotels they didn't start up, but
Right.
normal commercial gyms they already start.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tiran, just for the fans and the locals to know, can you just give us a intro of how you started and what made you get into MMA in the first place?
Yeah, actually, when I was 10 years old, I went to Kerry College. Then I started with the wushu, and I did couple of fights, and I became under 17, 19, and 21 all-Ireland champion while I was in school. Then same time I get into boxing as well. Then school boxing. Once I win the championship, I got a sponsorship, like a scholarship to China, and I went to China to do my diploma and all. Then when it's to 2008, I get into MMA. Dr. Haren came to Sri Lanka, and my Sifu Prasanna Jayavira introduced me, Mayura, Madura, Rasika, four fighters from Sri Lanka to him. Then after that,
Madhur is the guy. Madhur is the same guy who's organizing CFC, right? Is the same Madhur? Right.
Yeah, Madhur, same one. And I think Mayura, you already know, he's in USA. He get into some fights and all in.
I think his name went viral around the world for some time, right?
Yeah. So we are the first batch, me, Mayura, Madhura, and his elder brother Rasika.
Right.
So
right.
After that, we did Boom Bang in Mount Lebanon in 2010 against Army National Judo team.
Right.
And we won the championship. Me, Madhura, again Mayura and Rasika. Then CSN start Colombo Fight Night. Then they had a couple of seasons like CSN 1, 2, I think until CSN 3. Then after that, once we won the championship from CSN, we got invitation from India, the first South Asian international tournament for MMA, who organized by Sanjay Dutt and Raj Kundra. So that tournament, we went, me, Mayura and Madhura. We went to Mumbai and we represent Sri Lanka. There were a lot of fighters international fighters like Bob Sapp and James Thompson. A lot of fighters came, and we were representing Sri Lanka. It was like a huge tournament.
Right.
That is 2012, 2013.
Right. Okay. So and also.
So this is how we get into it. After that.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Then after that, Mayura, he went to USA. He got a chance to go to USA with his brother. Then I came to Dubai. Then after that, I continued my career here as a personal trainer and kickboxing coach. While I'm working, 2014, I got a chance to fight in UAE Kickboxing Championship. Then I became 70 kg UAE champion in 2014. Then while I was here again, I got a chance to fight in India Super Fight League, one of the main event. So I did time to time fights in Dubai, India, Pakistan, Singapore, China, and yeah, I went to a couple of countries and represent my country as well.
Superb.
Right. So right now you don't fight. You full-time coach and a personal trainer.
No, I'm doing the fighting. At the
Right.
moment, again, I'm back to boxing and kickboxing.
Right.
Recently, I fought one of the amateur boxing world title in Dubai
Right.
last year. Then we became number
Wow.
two. Then
Wow.
I had another chance to fight for the title on this year, and also I got a chance to fight in one championship as well. But the problem
Wow.
was the coronavirus. It came up, then it all got
Wow.
stopped.
So,
Oh,
so you're telling me that you
that's
basically got a contract to basically and fight for one championship? Is that what you said?
I got an invitation. I got an invitation from them, and
Superb.
I was planning to go to one championship and also Bellator and these two. So I was training here to go to these two.
wow.
But again, once the things are back to normal, so hopefully I think I can go.
Uh,
Wow.
that's one of the things that we actually wanted to discuss also. Like, what are the opportunities out there for a local fighter, and is it actually possible to get into a big promotion like this? And you hearing these things actually would encourage a lot of local fighters as well.
See, mainly like if you are doing martial art in our country, like
Mm.
our country is very good, but the thing is for the martial art and the sport, we don't have that much of big platform, you know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, true.
if you are doing martial art, like mostly the picture is you will not get that much of money and you don't have a career, no. Okay,
Right.
because
Right.
there is no path they didn't build up a path in Sri Lanka. So that's why
Yeah.
most of the sport people, they are going out of the country. Okay, once we
Right.
come here, like we have seen, like if you are doing sports, especially martial arts and all, there is like a huge market for
Right.
those kind
Mhm.
of sports. And I'm just giving example because while I was in my country, when I'm like as soon as I get out of my school and all,
Yeah.
then when they know you are doing the martial art, first thing they will tell, okay, you can take a lot of burdens and all, so better you can go to the sales, or you can go to security or military. So this is the mindset
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Sri Lanka and
Yeah.
all.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but
Right.
once you came out of the country, there are a lot of jobs. For example, you can be a personal trainer, kickboxing coach, recreation manager, and like there are like a lot of
Right.
paths,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Right.
Then another thing, like not only the sport, of course you need to earn as well. Okay, so that's why most of the other sport people, they are stopping, even though they have like a lot of talent. There are a lot of talented people in Sri Lanka,
Right.
but they are stopping because of they need to take care of their families and all. So there is no money, like no big
Mm.
huge income.
Right. Right.
Okay,
Right.
I'm talking about within Sri Lanka. Okay, but when you are coming
Right.
out of the country, yeah, like you can earn a lot. You know,
Right.
like
Mm. Mm.
I'm just telling. I started when I was in Sri Lanka, like 1,000 rupees per fight. Okay,
Right.
Right.
then now I'm the second highest paid fighter in Super Fight League. Then
Superb.
Wow.
yeah, so there is a lot of American fighters, Canadian fighters. Number one is one of the Canadian fighter. Second is me. For the last season, I was the second highest paid fighter.
Superb.
Wow.
In
So,
Yeah, superb stories, Tiran. And actually, just talking about Super Fight League, we were actually looking at some of your clips as well. And I think one of your knockouts were in the top 5 knockouts of Fight League, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, yeah, that is 2017. I was fighting for the Mumbai team. That is Ajay Devgan's team, Bollywood
Right.
actor.
Right.
Then I was the main featherweight fighter. Then I got first round one punch knockout, so that it came like top 5 in the entire league.
Superb.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Right.
were you always a featherweight from the start, Tiran, or later on with the years did you jump up from weight from what you were before?
No, when I was starting the wushu, I fought for 48 kg. Then after that,
Wow.
56. Yeah. Then 56, I stayed for 2 years. Then suddenly moved to 60. Then
Right.
65. And nowadays I'm fighting when it's coming to kickboxing, 66 or 70 kg. And
Right.
MMA, I fought bantamweight, that is 63. Then
Right.
mostly featherweight, 66 kg.
Featherweight. Right. So, in terms of like you were talking about training here, and you said, I mean, I understand. Like, I think if you do any sport in Sri Lanka other than the mainstream, cricket or something or rugby, as per se, it's the same thing, right? So even for boxers, even for like any of the other martial artists, it's a similar kind of story where you can't earn a living from the sport. So that's what we are also trying to trying to do. Like we want to actually make the sport a bit mainstream, at least to a level where people are interested in. And with these kind of new promotions coming in, and UFC being a huge promotion, and people are really getting into it. And there's a trend that is going on in Sri Lanka at the moment, just like the rest of the world, where people are getting into this sport, like at least in terms of spectator view, right? So do you really think still the situation is the same? Like if it really start pushing, is there a potential for us to have it mainstream in Sri Lanka, or there's no
Yeah,
chance at
of
all?
course. As I said, like we have a lot of talented athletes. Even if
Yeah.
you see, like I saw some of the Muay Thai champions, world champions, and all from Sri Lanka, and
Mm.
even wushu, boxing. We have a lot of potential. Like if you are being a fighter, main thing is you need to have the heart. Like as Sri Lankans, I
Right.
believe we have that. Not
Right.
only the
Right.
techniques and all these things. If you are, even once I come here, like I was training with a lot of Brazilian fighters. I'm the only Sri
Right.
Lankan fighter. Then
Right.
like they were talking about like always like, man, you are having like a bigger start, because comparing to them, like I was small, like by body
Right.
size and all.
Right.
Still I want to go more and more, like okay, let's do it. It's no problem at all. Like so
Ah,
same thing, like most of the Sri Lankan fighters, they are having the heart. So that is the main thing as a fighter.
right.
So,
Right.
So
but the thing
if you
is, like, yeah,
yeah, no, no,
like
go ahead.
now trend, it's good to see the movies, and like I know most of the people are, this is MMA, we need to get into MMA. But what I seen is,
Right.
even us became like you need to have a basic martial art like a discipline, like at least
Mm-hmm.
boxing or like wrestling or kickboxing.
Yeah.
Just if you are getting into only MMA, it's little bit hard, because you don't have the idea about any, like you are taking from each one little by little.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
at
Correct.
least you need to go like 2 3 years. You need to study one martial art and have one discipline before
Right.
you are getting
Right.
into MMA. You need to have some experience with other martial art, like you're getting into some amateur fights. For example, you are a boxer, at least you need to
Right.
have like more fights in boxing. Then if
Right.
you are a kickboxer, you need to have a couple of fights in kickboxing. Not you are straight away getting into MMA. And
Right.
like
Right.
because I went
Like.
there because sometimes I want to like fight really bad. Like even though I'm
Mm.
not ready, I went to some of the fights, so I got some
Right.
lessons from all those things. Because when it's
Right.
coming to international platform,
Right.
they are
Right.
they are into it. Okay,
Right. Right.
that is their life, and they have sponsors, they have coaches.
Mm.
Right.
Okay, so while I'm working, I'm doing my camps, and once I win this UAE championship and all, I got a lot of friends, like Brazilian friends. They are like number one in the world, like who's fighting for the Bellator
Right.
pride, and some of them world champion for the jiu-jitsu. And then we got a sponsorship for the Gold's Gym, and ambassador was Randy Couture, one of the UFC
Right.
fighter.
Yeah, yeah.
Then
You
they
showed
have to
the
choose.
images.
Yeah.
That's where you met Cody as well, is it?
No, Cody I met in Phuket, Thailand.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So he was doing one of his training camps over there, or he just came for a lesson for your institute,
Yeah,
or
he's
how did it work?
who, the Cody or the
Yeah,
Randy?
Cody. Cody.
Cody.
Yeah, Cody. Because before this 2017 Super Fight League, I went to Phuket, Phuket top team in Thailand.
Right.
So I had a fight camp for nearly 1 month in
Right.
Phuket top team. Then all the top class fighters are coming to there. Cody and I met Chris Cyborg, and
Wow.
Okay.
yeah, so they were all in the same training camp. So
Right.
from morning to evening, we are doing Muay Thai, boxing, Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, like 7 a.m. to until 7 p.m. Only you have 2 breaks. Like
Wow.
this, 6 days per week, 1 day break. Like this, 1 month
Right.
training.
Wow.
Wow, that's actually something really, really cool to know. Like, I don't think a lot of us would get to know how a person is actually training in an actual training camp, and getting to know this through you. I think a lot of Sri Lankans, would really appreciate it. Like, so, like, talking about just Cody as well, do they train in a different way in terms compared to how you train during your camps, or is it pretty much the similar patterns when they train as well?
No, no, same camp because but they have categories. Who's having the professional fights? They are having
Right.
pro fighters camp and
Right.
Right.
amateur and semi-pro.
Okay.
So
Right.
we were in the pro camp, and all the Cody and all we are training all together. And
Wow.
plus, like Cody and all, normally they are having 6 month camp. For us,
Right.
we are
Wow.
taking 1 month because we need
1
to
month.
work also. So normally
Right.
I'm using my vacation from my work, then
Right.
I'm going to train, and after that only I'm going for my fights.
Right.
Right. So just to understand, so Tiran, so you started fighting here in Sri Lanka, and you took part in CSN fight night, and then from there
Yeah.
on you got an invitation to India. So from there, how did you build your career? Like, just for our fighters to understand what sort of a path you took, if they can also take a similar path, or just if you can just describe what that experience was like.
Okay. First, I will start with the CSN because I was in Qatar and I came back to Sri Lanka. Then
Right.
Right.
they already finished the CSN one for that thing. Mayura, Madura, they already fought in CSN one. Then
Right.
some of the fighters saw me in this 2010 Mount Lavinia fight night.
Right.
Then one guy was it was actually challenge fight.
Okay.
So the first challenge fight in CSN. Then I got one challenge. He actually was like 88 kg. It's like a heavyweight
Right.
fighter. Then
Right.
I was 66. Then I said, yeah, it's okay. I will fight. Then
Right.
yeah, first round. Within first round, I won by rear naked choke. That
Wow.
fight. Yeah. Then after that, only this Indian invitation came to us. They saw our
Right.
fights. They said, these fighters we need for this super fight league.
Right.
Right. So
So
was it like just by footage they saw, or is there a way for us to like get in touch with them and send our fighter profiles just for them to get
Yeah.
us
So
into
if
it?
you are a pro fighter, or like all the pro fighters, like worldwide, you have a profile in Sherdog. The
Right.
name is Sherdog. So all
Yeah. Sure.
the
Dog. Yeah.
record will be there. So
Right.
mainly, if you are going for a like a big league, like international platform and all, first thing they will ask your Sherdog record. Then you
okay.
need to send
Right.
to them the Sherdog record. And also nowadays, like now, because I'm doing all this stuff for other fighters, they are having a marketing team and the manager and all. But for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
I'm doing all the stuff by myself, all my videos
Right.
and managing my accounts and
Yes.
nowadays they're asking your how many Instagram followers you have, how many Facebook followers you have, okay,
Right.
and share dog
Wow.
record. So based on this, they will tell how much you will get,
Right.
like for the fight. Yeah, and
Right.
Right.
yeah,
So do you
Wow.
think, Tiran, like in terms of MMA fighters in Sri Lanka, if we have a lot of people who are eagerly waiting to get into the sport, or just like you to get into the next level, at least go international, is there still a chance, or is there any potential for us to look forward to get into different types of fighting companies?
Yes, yes, it is. Because there are not only me, like if you search, but most of them living in other countries, some of them start to represent the other countries as well. Like
Right.
I got to know once I come here, like there are some couple of champions, they are Sri Lankans, but living in Australia, living in UK and Canada. Some couple of fighters are there who's in MMA,
Right.
like yeah, world world platform.
Right.
Even some of them they are having some titles as well.
Okay.
So
Right.
same thing for our Sri Lankan fighters. Main thing they need to have the experience, but they need to get into some small like international platforms to build up their record in
Right.
Sherdog.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
then it's easy to get into a big platform, because 2012 it was like not expand much. Okay, and it was really new even for the South Asia and Asian level. And
Right.
after that only after Super Fight League only this one championship and all those things come like a very wider. Even
Right.
Brave,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So,
So
so this
yeah.
Sherdog, yeah, it's just, you mentioned Sherdog. Like, if we start a proper promotion in Sri Lanka, and is there a way that that promotion can register in Sherdog and then start? Because it's not very easy for one of our like local fighters to get into a say international promotion without proper backing.
Yes, it is. But you need to go full MMA rules. I
Yeah,
saw like
right,
nowadays when we are doing, sometimes we are not using elbows, sometimes we are not using knees. Okay, it's
right,
like a semi-pro, not pro.
right,
It's a
Right.
semi-pro.
right,
So to get into Sherdog, it need to be full MMA rules.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and
So you're saying if we have a proper promotion with proper MMA rules, there's a chance for our fighters also to register in Sherdog to build up their
yeah, it
resume,
is. It is. Yeah, it is. So you can
right?
build up your record while you are in Sri Lanka as well. But you
Right,
need to have a proper promotion, and you need to sanction by sport ministry or like Sherdog or like international body.
Right.
body. The issue is with Sri Lanka, we don't have a body, and I think a lot of countries where they don't have a MMA body, right? It's just like even
No,
in
no,
US they don't have a MMA body. So Sherdog does
for the
it for the promotion, or how does it work?
yeah, see, Sherdog is like a international body for the records only.
Right.
Okay, like
Right,
yeah, even kickboxers they are having their records, and MMA fighters they are having their records there.
right,
All the professional records will be there. For the MMA, there is no body at all. Like this is
mm,
like professional sport. So you
right.
don't have even UFC is a promotion, and Brave is a
Promotion.
Exactly.
promotion. Yeah, these
Right.
all are promotions. India was trying to do like one body, but it didn't work out that much of, because for example, for the UFC and all, they already established. Like why
Yeah,
they
yeah,
need
yeah.
to get
Don't
into
need.
another body and all? Nothing. This is not
Yeah,
Olympic game.
Right.
yeah, yeah. True.
Right. So, Tiran, I think the most intrigue question from our side, and like, would be like so many Sri Lankans will be waiting to know, is that what do you think personally, with your experience, since you have done it in locally and also gone international as well? Where do you think where Sri Lanka should start off with? Where do you think what we need to do in terms of growing this sport in the local market? What do you think we need to do?
Yes, main thing like you need to choose the fighters like who's having the martial art backgrounds and all, and after that they need to do more tournaments. But tournaments and the judges need to have idea about the MMA, and like if you don't have the idea, it won't be a proper promotion.
Right.
Sometimes I have
True.
seen even the judges and all, like they don't have that much of idea about MMA. But it's good, at least someone is doing, you know,
Mm,
like
Right.
rather than we are not doing it. Okay, but small things we need to adjust. And at least we need to follow maybe UFC rules, maybe Pride rules. Mainly now, most of the promotion they are using UFC rules, because when it's coming to Pride, for example, like even the grounded opponent, you can kick to the head. Okay, this is in Japan. Yeah, but in UFC and when it's coming to One FC, Brave, and Bellator, those kind of promotion is illegal. Okay, so you need to know about you need to have a proper constitution about the rules. Either you take from UFC, either Bellator. Okay, what is convenient for Sri Lankan platform? Because mostly we are doing by boxing ring, the tournaments, because we don't have a cage. So we can take a couple of rules, a couple of means like a proper constitution, what is good for us, and safe for the fighters as well. Because when it's coming to Pride, there are a lot of damages. Think someone is kicking to like doing the soccer kick and all to the head and all, and because we don't have the insurance, and we are not paying that much for the fighters, you know.
Of course.
And if you get damage and all, sometimes the career will end up within one fight.
It can be life-threatening, right? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it is. But that's why we need to have a proper judges and proper rules and regulations. We can start with the semi-pro. Then after that, we can get into the pro level. So more semi-pro fights. Yeah, maybe some no-gi jiu-jitsu, maybe some kickboxing. Because I was talking to last week, one of my friends, he's doing a promotion in Hawaii. He's from US. He was telling me like some of the ideas when you are doing the MMA and all, if you want to establish in your country, like you will start with the semi-pro. For example, you will go with the first round with the boxing, then the second round with the nogi, then third round full rules. Okay, that also like without any elbows and the knees and all. So like this. So we need to go step by step, not like yes, I know the fighters and for the young blood we need to upgrade. We are doing MMA, and you know. It's not a movie. It's not the back down that kind of stuff. Yeah.
True. Understood.
I think I always in the mindset that it's better to stop a fight early than late. You know.
It is.
Yeah. So and I've seen a couple of videos in Sri Lanka also, like you don't have, at least the referees don't have the knowledge on the proper rules in MMA. And I think that those are some of the things that we can improve as we take this more seriously and take a look at it. One of the key things that we are also keen to understand is how we can build a proper audience for it, right? Even though, like, for example, me and Asita, we have been watching UFC and we have been such huge fans for a long time, but we don't know anything about the local scene. That's pretty sad when you look at it like that. So there are lots of UFC fans also that we want to, take this sport to and promote our local fighters. How do you think, like, when CSN was organizing, like, you took part in it, what was the audience reaction? Like, how did they react to the whole thing?
It was nice because all the people were interested about this sport, because it was new. And when one channel is giving the broadcasting and all, especially CSN, and all the people were like it, like they were waiting for the next episodes and all. And but unfortunately, it got stopped, because when it's coming to like our country and all, we need to promote like within the country. I'm going for the Super Fight League, but the main thing is Super Fight League. They were trying to promote their like Indian athletes, not outside athletes at all. So they want to bring sometimes foreign fighters to make their fighters look good. This is the truth.
Right.
And then sometimes matchups is going upside. Like some of the fighters from them, they will match up. Who's having more experience, more than like 10 years, 12 years and all, within like 1 year, 2 year experienced fighter from foreign country. Okay, so they want to show, okay, he's from America, he's from Sri Lanka, and whatever. And like their country is the one winning. It's like a Hindi movie. you know.
Got it, got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Sometimes.
That happens a lot, right? I think they'll want to obviously try to market themselves and try to showcase their fighters.
I'm not telling it's wrong, because
Yeah,
this is how it is, because this is their promotion there, and they are doing by inside the country.
yeah,
Okay, so of course they need to promote their athletes. Yeah, so same
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
for us as well. Like when we are like matching up, we need to match up with the same level.
right,
Otherwise, it
Right.
will be suicide or murder. You know.
right.
Yeah,
True, true,
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Superb.
What do
Then
you think of like if the promotion start like really ranking fighters and start pushing belts and having all these will make a huge impact. Like for example, most of the time that we watch fights, it's more like you don't know the fighters, you don't know how they performed earlier, you don't know their rankings, you don't know their records. You just see two fighters fighting, and do you think having that sort of a system like UFC, having divisions, weight classes, will that add to the interest level of the audience?
Yeah, it is, because see, even in the UFC, they had the Ultimate Fighter. Okay, even in the
Yeah,
One Championship, they are not taking the fighters directly to the main championship. They have some
right,
selecting tournaments.
Right,
After that, only they will take to the main championship. Even though you are having a good
right,
record. Okay,
right.
even though you are having a huge record, I remember even Northcutt, he came from UFC,
yeah,
and
Yeah,
Mighty Mouse, he came from UFC, but
yeah, yeah.
they had
Actually,
some
one.
fights in like a selection fights. After that, only they get into the main
Yeah, yeah.
events.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember
So
even Eddie Alvarez, right?
yes, Eddie Alvarez and
Yeah,
all. So like this, like you need to have a step by step. That's why you need to have a proper constitution for the rules and regulation, plus the tournament wise as well.
right.
right,
True, true.
right. All right. So, Tiran, in terms of for our fans and also the locals, just tell us, how do you basically maintain your diet, and like what do you have on a daily basis, and how do you basically cut weight during for a fight and all? Just give us some insights on that.
Yeah, like when I'm training for a fight, for example, if I think I have a fight on December or something, then at least you need to train 3 months ahead.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
you need to prepare yourself, and like first month, no, like I will eat like normally, but mainly I will focus my cardio
Yeah.
and
Okay.
preparation programs and all. And after that, strengthening. Then last month only I am planning to go to these camps and all, so you can do some sparring and exchange techniques with the other international fighters.
Right.
Then yeah, when it's coming to 3 months, automatically you will drop down the weight, because uh, huge we are not keeping huge weight cuts in the last moment.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
are, especially when you are a professional fighter and all, like it will make a huge impact for your fight.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, because you will lose your energy, and it's not like a 2 minutes 3 rounds, it's 5 minutes 3 rounds, or 5 minutes
Yeah.
5 rounds for the championship rounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like if you are planning to do 5 minutes 3 rounds, at least you need to train like 5 minutes maybe 50 rounds.
Yeah.
Like
True. True. Yeah.
this is how, this is how,
Especially.
this is how it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So when it comes to Sri Lanka, like you were cutting weight here also for preparing fights, or were you fighting on your natural weight?
No, normally my natural weight is 70. Only 4 kgs is different. So while I'm
Right.
doing this hard training and all, you will automatically will drop down.
Drop down.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I assume it must be very difficult to cut weight in Sri Lanka with all the oily food, and we have a lot of food we put coconut oil, and it must be pretty hard to cut.
Yeah, but see, like our traditional food is very good, like it will keep you like more fit and all. I remember
Right.
when I'm doing the bush tournaments and all, when I'm small,
Right.
my mom used to give kadala, this
Right.
cowpea, and
Right.
I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to eat my like a mom and all, like no, you need to eat. But now I like, on that time you don't imagine, Okay,
Right.
what is impact and all.
Right.
Like every Sunday, every Saturday in our home, like she's cooking mungata, kadala, and she's
Right.
used to give the kadala water and all those stuff.
Wow.
But yeah, like now again, I'm asking sometimes from my mom, what you gave on that those days, right? Yeah,
And
Yeah.
even Canada and everything, I think it should be
it
really
is.
good. Yeah.
It is. It is. We are not thinking this much of those days, you know. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
what I remember, I used to fight 5 fights for the like before championship, like rounds and all. In especially in the wushu,
Right.
when I was this is 2005 when I'm becoming under 17 national champion.
Right.
I did 5 fights in one day.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, because you start with the morning, afternoon, evening until
Wow.
midnight. It win the championship in Sugatas
Right.
Stadium.
Right.
Wow.
And now I was thinking, how did I do those things and all? Because
Yeah.
now we
True.
are doing
True.
only one fight per day.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
and maybe one fight per month.
Months. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. True. So normally, how often do you compete?
Like normally, I'm doing amateur fights, 3-4 fights per year, and
Right.
one professional fight. Because
So
I need to keep in touch with the martial arts, and also I'm getting into some amateur boxing fights,
right.
kickboxing fights. Then only I'm going to MMA professional fight.
Right. So you train on your own, or do you have a trainer with you there?
No, see, I have a team here. Before I had like a huge team. Now they went different states in
Right.
UAE.
Right.
We had nearly 10 Brazilians, and
Right.
yeah, I was one of their team, and like this is the Randy Couture's team
Ah.
that
Okay. Right. Right.
they were forming in Align in
Right.
Gold Gym. Yeah, so most of the fighters from, as I said, Bellator and Brave and Pride FC, and some
Right.
of the fighters from who's doing the jiu-jitsu, like world champions.
Right.
For example, like Flavio Serafin and Thiago Jumbo,
Wow.
Fabio Melo, and
Wow.
those fighters. Yeah.
Right. Wow. That's pretty
Interesting.
Then,
interesting.
yeah, we were training like one day we are going for the jiu-jitsu training. Then one day we are doing wrestling. One day kickboxing, and one day we are keeping full MMA training like this and conditioning. So
Right.
the 5 days we are separating for each discipline and each schedule and all.
Right.
Not
Right.
every day we are doing the same thing. If you are starting with boxing, next day kickboxing, then next day strength, like wrestling, then strengthening. In the last day, we'll go for the sparring or MMA training.
Right. Right.
Right.
So when it comes to MMA, so you started off with wushu. Was there a big change that you need to do, or did you how did you translate your wushu skills to MMA?
See, wushu is more similar. Like only we don't have ground techniques, you know.
Right.
But
Okay.
when it's coming to wushu, the fighting part is called sanda, sanshu,
Right.
and in sanda, same like kickboxing, and you can use your punches, kicks, plus you can do the takedowns.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
You
but
just can't do ground and pound. Yeah.
yeah, you cannot do ground and pound. But there is no elbows, there is no knees like Muay Thai.
Right.
But you
Okay.
can do same like kickboxing, punches, kicks, full contact, and
Right.
takedown. So it was for us, it was easy to adapt to MMA on those days when you're getting into MMA,
Right.
2008.
Right.
Then because only we got to know about the grappling part on that time,
Right. Okay.
like how to once we get into the ground, at least how to get up if you
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
the jujitsu and all. Then after
Yeah.
that we used to do some nogi jujitsu.
Right.
Then yeah, those ground and pound and the grappling stuff.
Right.
Right.
And
So
right now there are lots of MMA gyms in Sri Lanka. Right, those days I assume there must be not a lot of training camps and gyms for you to train it. So how did that whole thing worked out?
Yeah, I saw there are a lot of gyms in Sri Lanka nowadays. It's good. It's really good because you need to have the trend and you need to
Yeah.
have a lot of gyms. And within gyms, you need to have a good competition. and because without competition, the sport will not come up. Okay,
Yeah.
and without jealousy and the ego, you need to have a good competition within
Yeah,
all
yeah,
those teams. When it's coming to even Dubai, they are like doing some gym warps. Okay,
okay,
like
right,
to gym, you are doing some tournaments.
right,
Okay.
right,
So those are the like basic tournaments here for the MMA,
right,
like amateur tournaments. Then after
right,
that, you can get into the semi-pro and pro.
right.
Right.
Okay. So those days when you were training, how did you train? Was there a gym, proper trainers, or how did you manage that?
In Sri Lanka, because
Yeah, yeah,
I was training in Sri Lanka National Wushu Academy with
right.
Sifu Prasanna Jaivira, and we had a lot of coaches there, like Kumar teacher, Duminda teacher, and
Yeah. That's on Wushu, right?
yeah,
Oh,
that is Wushu.
right,
Wushu and Wing Chun as well. I did Wing
right.
Chun
Okay.
also.
Yeah.
Then,
So
yeah.
in terms of ground, your ground game, how did you basically get along when you were in Sri Lanka, Tiran? Like, did you go to a separate place in terms of learning the BJJ skills and takedowns,
No,
or
BJJ skills we did with Dr. Haren once.
Right.
Our instructor, Sifu Prasan teacher, he introduced us to the Dr. Haren. Then after that,
Right.
he had Jujutsu background. Then we did Nogi Jujutsu with him.
right?
So, yeah.
Okay, interesting. So, but in terms of your career right now, you said you're still fighting, and it's still halfway through. Like, what is your basically your goal, and basically where do you want to see yourself in a let's say about a year's time? Hopefully, after this whole Corona thing finishes off.
Yeah, as soon as it's finished, now I'm preparing myself for the upcoming fights. After, like they are having a couple of fights in Dubai,
Right.
not sooner, but I think in December or January. Because first, because I did do my last MMA fight was 2018. So now I want to get into again back to boxing, kickboxing. Then I'll be back to MMA again.
Right. So with one championship, you said you got an invitation. So after this whole Corona thing goes off, like if you proceed there, so they'll have basically a tournament to take you in, right?
Yeah, it is.
Right. So you want
Because,
to continue your career there?
yeah, one of the promoter he asked me to come to his promotion, and then through him I need to fight to one championship.
All right. So
Then
he's like a manager for
he's the
you,
manager.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I
So
said it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got in contact with this person on your own, or he contacted you after seeing you in
No,
a
he
tournament?
contacted me. See, like normally I'm getting some of the managers and all. They are requesting to fight for them. It's depend on in return what they are giving to me as well. Because when it's
Right.
coming pro
Right.
level, what is the benefits I am getting? So you need to evaluate. After that, only you need to get into one manager. So far,
Right.
I'm doing by myself all the
Right.
things, even marketing and managing stuff and all. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think a manager would bring into the table, like in terms of so you're doing the fights, and he'll probably focus on marketing and getting you matchups, or how does it work?
See, actually, you need to have separate manager, separate coach. Okay, while I was
Right.
in Sri Lanka, I had my coaches and all from National Wushu Academy. But
Right. Right.
now I'm outside of the country, and I have friends, these Brazilian fighters and all. Okay, but when I want to go to the camp, I'm going to Thailand and training and all. But when I'm going for the fights and all, I'm going by myself. Okay, so I don't have a manager and even like a coach and all. So
Yeah.
whoever provide from even for the super fight league, whoever provide from their side, only I'm using.
Right.
But
okay, so in
it's
terms of
not
like
good.
cornermen, you won't be having your own cornerman from your camp representing you and coming with you for the fight, is it?
No, because Super Fight League and all, they gave some of the tournament and all because it's like same like IPL concept. Then
Okay.
you are so they are having their own tournaments and own
Okay.
coaches and all for each team. And but the thing is, like, I have some bad experience as well while you are going by yourself and all, because
Yeah.
see, if you are having a manager and if you are having a coach, like, at least you have someone to take care of you if something happen, you know.
Right.
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 Like yeah, because sometimes I used to go, like, when I was small, I used to travel to other countries, and I had some experience with the fighting and all, so I'm
Right.
using those experience. And just I'm sharing, one time I went to the Super White League. Then like, I was working here. Then
Right.
of course I'm taking some pocket money and all, like while I'm traveling.
Right.
So first thing, like, I called to them. They said, no, there is no one to pick up you. You need to come to this hotel. I was like, wow, yeah. Then
Right.
yeah, in the first tournament, yeah, they gave like huge like a welcome and all this stuff. This is the truth, because like most of the people will see like the front part. Okay, when I'm
Right.
putting the videos and I'm with this guy and I'm getting the, yes, I'm the second highest paid fighter and all.
Right.
But you need to go through these things as well, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Then I was like, oh yeah, I said, okay, no problem, I'll come. Then first time, like 2017, I won this tournament and became top five knockouts. Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then after that, I was just like the superstar. I had like a lot of after parties with Bollywood celebrities, and they were praising me, like, we need to bring you again, like
Right.
we need a lot of fighters from your side. I said,
Right.
okay, no problem. And then 2018, I had a bad experience. Like, I got knocked out. Like it was like a split second. Then I was in the top mount. Then I got slipped. Then I got a punch to my chin. I got pass out. But
Right.
this
Wow.
referee, he didn't see. Then
No.
he,
Wow.
like, he let the guy to continue for a couple of seconds, like at
Wow.
least I think 5 to 10 seconds. But that
No.
5 to 10 seconds,
God.
yeah. Then my nose got broken. Then I went to I asked them to put me to the hospital. They said, no,
Right.
it's okay. I said, no, I want to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like, please send me to the hospital, because I
Right.
feel something wrong in my body, you know, like.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then they said, okay, we will send you. Then they asked to like one ambulance. I went. As soon as I went to the hospital, I still remember I vomit blood, because it's
Wow.
like all my
Wow.
nose got broken. It was there,
Yeah. Right.
like blood and all. Then same time they called me. Then said, Tiran, we prepare your flight. You can go tonight. I got mad, you know,
Wow.
like, I was in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hospital
Yeah.
in the emergency. I was
Wow.
they were going to do the operation for me. Then
Right.
but same time, but I was conscious. Then I was starting to like shout to them, all the promotion. I said, I will go to the media once I go back to Dubai. You will see me, what I will do to you and all this stuff. They said,
Yeah.
no, don't go that much of extent. Don't worry, you can do your operation. Then I
Right.
stayed
Wow.
for 7 days in ICU by myself.
Wow.
Then nobody
Wow.
came and see nothing. So this is a back picture.
Right.
Yeah. 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 Right.
Yeah,
I
That's
think
a
those are some
danger.
really interesting stories that you actually share. Like, we wouldn't ever know these stories unless it's actually from a fighter like you, right? And so, Tiran, so like during this point, did you have any insurance coverage for yourself, or was it basically had to be pumped out from yourself, or did the promotion actually pay for these things?
no,
How does
like
it
on
work?
that time they had yeah, yeah. I had the insurance coverage, but same time, like it was covering, I think, up to $5,000
Right.
for
Right.
yeah for $4,000 to $5,000. Then my for that 7 days, I think it got a little bit exceeded.
Right.
But even
So,
though they paid, paid fully, and only the exceed the amount I paid by myself.
Right.
Then
So not
there
the
was some,
promotion. Like you have to pay yourself the exceeding amount.
yeah, so a small amount I paid, but
Right.
like actually like if, because it's during the tournament, so they need to take the full care of the fighters and all.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why I'm telling you, like you need to have a, like if you are going for international tournaments and all, you need to have a proper coach and proper like manager and all, because think if I it, on that time I'm conscious to talk. If I'm not like conscious and all, if I'm unconscious and all, they will pack me to Dubai.
True,
Yeah,
true, true.
true.
That's actually, thanks for sharing that story. I think it's really valuable. It'll really open a lot of eyes to a lot of people in Sri Lanka in terms of thinking of doing this as a professional sport, and to really have this in mind. Yeah.
Also
Yeah,
your contract and all, because last time they didn't give me the contract because I had a struggle to take my money as well. Then I was
wow.
once I told like I'm going to medias and all, because in Dubai and all, I'm working as a recreation manager in one of the tourist like here tourist board affiliated hotel.
Right.
So
Right.
it's like a Pacific company, and I
Right.
had some connection in Dubai as well.
Right.
Then they said that no, you don't need to go to the media. We will take care. Like you know,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like if it was some other fighter, things would have been a bit different. It would have been a different story, right?
it is because like actually like as Sri Lankan fighters, wherever we go, we have our pride and all. Like as
Yeah.
Sri Lankans, you know, like. Uh, that's why I told we need to have a strong base in Sri Lanka. Then only, because even some of their fighters, they are not paying that much of, because they they are Indian community. Most of the fighters, even though they are not getting paid, they are
Yeah.
keen to come because of the Bollywood actors and actresses.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
because I'm with this actors team and all, but we have done this sport for a long time, and
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't want to get into free fights anymore. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
once
Yeah.
you
True.
build up to one certain level and all, you know your value. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this, especially when it's coming to professional sport, of course they need to pay your real value. That's why I
Yeah.
told you, you need to know all the aspect, like uh, how to handle your social media, how to do your pay-per-views, how to do your media coverages, everything you need
Mm.
to know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Superb.
So yeah, I think we covered a lot, and that this is like a really interesting conversation. A lot of fighters will also have we be able to take a lot of insights from your this conversation. Just for curiosity point of view, just to understand. So do you still train alone, or you have a coach now with you in Dubai?
Here, no, I'm getting into some of the clubs now. Like when I'm having the fights and all, I will normally I'm going to Team Nugera, and other one is Downtown Boxing Club,
Right.
and yeah, there are a couple of gyms, specific gyms for the boxing, Muay
Right.
Thai,
Right.
and MMA. So I'm
Right.
going and training with them. And also in my place, there are some fighters and the coaches as well. So we are
Right.
all getting together. We are helping each other, because vice versa. When I'm having a fight, they will help to me in
Mm.
Right. Right. Okay.
local ones in UAE,
Yeah.
and for them as well.
Right.
So I will help. Yeah.
S- Superb. But also, Tiran, just from a Sri Lankan point of view, any chance that you come down to Sri Lanka back again and try training our fighters sometime,
Yeah.
maybe? Yeah.
Last time I came, like I think it's 2017 or 18. I came, and I came for a 1 week or 2 weeks. Then Navy special boat squad. They asked me to come and train them there. Then I trained them a couple of days,
Superb.
and some MMA. I did a couple of MMA seminars for them. And of course, for sure, like I would like to share my knowledge and all. And also, I brought three jiu-jitsu black belters before last year
Okay.
from UAE to Sri Lanka. They also did one seminar in National Wushu Academy. But yeah, this time also, if I'm coming, of course, I will let you all know. Then we can arrange a nice seminar, and I can
Yeah.
bring a couple of fighters from here. We
Superb.
Wow.
can do a good campaign there.
Wow.
Superb.
That
All
that'll be
right.
super interesting.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Tiran. So, all right. I think we covered a lot from our point of view. Anything else at the end? Anything that you want to share from your side, Tiran? Are you? You have anything to say?
Especially for our local fighters, is there any advice that you like to give?
Yeah, like of course they need to train more and watch more professional videos, how follow some professional athletes and their training programs. Okay, and before you get into fights, go to some amateur tournaments and get more experience with other disciplines. Like if you are a stand-up fighter, get the experience from the ground fighting for the wrestling or jiu-jitsu or whatever. If you are a ground fighter, you need to have a background with experience from stand-up level. Okay, so vice versa, you need to know about all, but you need to follow one discipline first. After
Right.
that only you, if you want to really want to be a good MMA fighter, have one discipline, and yeah, then after that only you can go more.
Superb. Right, Tiran. Thank you so much. From our point of view, wait, I think Jacinta just went off. Wait, hold on.
Right. Sorry, I got disconnected.
Right. Okay. All right. So yeah, from our point of view, I think we covered a lot, and thanks a lot, Tiran, for doing this call last minute. Thank you so much for joining on our podcast.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you,
Tiran, and
thank you,
also,
Got it.
yeah, thanks for joining the group as well. You see there are a lot of enthusiastic people out there, and
Right.
Yeah.
both the fighters and both the fans are also there. And I think it's a very engaging group as well. And you feel free to engage as well. We encourage everyone to speak up, and because we want to build
Yeah,
this small community in Sri Lanka, and I think that will help the both the fans and the fighters to go along with their careers.
also so recently I start on YouTube channel as well, because I want to give some idea, and I want to share some of my training videos, and soon I
Right.
will put some of my coaches seminars and all.
Superb.
So
Right.
it will it will help maybe for the Sri Lankan community, all the fighters and
Yeah.
all, to
So
get more experience and all. Yes.
yeah, yeah. When you upload videos, you feel free to upload it to the group as well. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
everyone
sure.
will appreciate it.
Okay,
Superb.
thank you.
All right, Tehran, thanks a lot for joining on the call. And so if there's anyone who wants to get a hold of you, we'll definitely put your YouTube link underneath the video so that they can get a hold of your YouTube stuff as well. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for doing this call. And hopefully we'll see you once again soon, and we can go through this or go and see what your upcoming fights are like.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
John.
Asad. Thank you, Vinci. Okay.